Organizational Design, Structure, and Change Presentation by Miranda Sheldon. Of the 8 dimensions, the City of Danville shows weakness in the people management. The city exhibits traditional people management styles, and in some departments have no clear management style at all. Employee participation is not common in decision-making within the city, and when it is, it's reminded that managers have the ultimate decision-making power. Early management theories, such as those of scientific management school, advocated a clear separation between duties of managers and workers. Management was to make the decisions and employees were to implement them. The current effects that the City of Danville sees for poor management are a lack of employee motivation and employee discouragement, high turnover in some departments, a loss of vital skills and institutional knowledge because employees have valued time-based knowledge that are not involved in decision-making, and this affects their processes. A lack of faith in management, resulting in shortage of reporting of misconduct, error, and maybe even fraud. Quality employee burnout. Lower standards for employees as those cannot rise to the level that the job requires are not improved upon or terminated, and a quality of work suffers and deadlines are not met. Numerous research studies have shown that whereas employees who seek responsibility and challenge on the job may find participation in the decision-making process to be both motivating and enriching, the other employees may regard such participation as a waste of time and management imposition. Griffin, Phillips, Gully, 2020. There are 2 types of conflict that can arise from organizational structure. They are both structural and vertical conflict that arises from the managerial structure of an organization, and vertical is a conflict that occurs without regard to hierarchy within an organization. There is both vertical and structural conflict at the City of Danville. Structural conflict from lower level employees that feel that upper management do not understand their position or have reverence for it, and vertical where all employees are essentially managed by City Council and there is tension within Council when Council makes a decision that negatively impacts the city as a whole. Both sources of conflict hurt people management as employees do not feel heard or feel that decisions are made by effectual stewards. The structural conflict previously mentioned is a result of organizational design. Matching a department's structural design with its needs given its environment improves its effectiveness. Structural interventions should focus on creating a moderate amount of constructive task conflict and minimal relationship conflict by addressing sources of these conflicts for that unit. The city is broken into multiple departments that are broken into multiple divisions. The bureaucratic organization of the city is cumbersome and leaves employees unclear on who they directly report to. There are so many levels of managers and positions within each department, the employee becomes removed from those who are making decisions that affect their job. This makes management of employees difficult at a supervisory level because managing structural and managerial decisions are not involved directly with the employees that do the job. Organizational culture is thus influenced by a perceived degree of political activity and how the employees in that organization react to those perceptions. The city is a local government that operates with elected officials, so there is heightened sense of political influence in the culture already. The culture is fairly laid back, and this can give manager problems. There is an attitude of my work doesn't matter with some employees, and this creates motivational issues for managers down the line. Conscious culture and management can be compared with departments that do it well and departments that need improvement. IT makes employees' convenience and comfortability a priority. Leaders will stand up for their employees and their work, and the leaders seem to respect employee input. Public works leaders defend the employees' decisions, and leaders tend to be innovative with positions and structure that enhances the strengths and reduces the weaknesses of those in the department. Finance focuses on employee mental health and contentment, makes employees feel heard, and will stand up for employees' decisions and work. The departments that need improvement are human resources, where employees are not effectively trained, and when mistakes occur, the employees are either not told or berated. There is no bullying in this department, and there is a lack of accountability. Utilities also sees a lack of accountability with low expectations and therefore a low quality of work. Low employee investment and involvement are seen because the management doesn't seem invested. And there's a generally unsettled and discontent tone within the department because there has been an increasing amount of fraud within the department and everybody is generally uneasy. John Cotter outlined 8 steps for leading change, and they were creating a sense of urgency, building a guiding coalition, forming a strategic vision, enlisting a volunteer army, enabling action by removing barriers, generating short-term wins, sustaining acceleration, and then finally initiating and instituting the change. Cotter's 8 steps for change can be applied to the city in the following way. We can create a sense of urgency by letting employees know that the management deficits are negatively affecting them and that it's urgent to fix them. We can build a guiding coalition by getting the city manager and all directors united and on board with the changes that need to be made. We can form a strategic vision and initiatives by encouraging the departments to plan initiatives that they know will motivate their employees and unite in a common goal for better management. We can enlist a volunteer army by having culture liaisons within the departments that can keep the culture and the management style in check. We can enable action by removing barriers by department directors enforcing the goals of the entire group to the lower level managers. We can generate short-term wins by establishing departmental goals that can be achieved in a timely manner. We can sustain acceleration by providing goals that are achievable and that make employees and managers want to keep this up. And finally, we can institute change by making these ideals part of the required culture and practices. There are some potential challenges with potential solutions as well. The employee and manager aversion to change can be solved by positive reinforcement and encouragement that this will improve workflow. Managers and employees need to be engaged, and engaged workers are those that are absorbed in and enthusiastic about their work and are so prepared to put in extra time and effort when this is required. A sense of purpose, learning, power, and innovation should be established so that employees are vested and engaged. And getting managers to agree that change is needed, we can do this by showing positive workflows in other departments so that managers see that the potential that their department has to offer. I have learned lessons in developing structure, building culture, and managing change. I would like to engage in developing structure by hearing employees at all levels to see where the deficits are, building culture by making sure that I am inclusive, and managing change by making sure to explain the change and develop action plans so that change is not intimidating for employees. I would like to avoid only listening to top management, avoid the assumption that cultures will be consistent among all departments and structural levels, and I will not implement change suddenly or haphazardly without informing those at the ground level actually doing the work. Listed below are my references. Thank you.